Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. And we are together again on the radio. And good to be here. Good to be hanging out. Look at this story. This from the website of KOB Television in Albuquerque. An Albuquerque woman claimed that she had a 5-year-old daughter by her ex-husband. But an Albuquerque judge says, get this, that child has never existed. Viola Trevino was ordered to bring her child, Stephanie Renee Trevino, to court by Monday. Several hours after her deadline, Trevino walked into court with a little girl in her arms, but the girl, a 2-year-old, was somebody else's child. Child's grandmother, Georgia Chavez, said she went out to get the mail on Monday morning when Trevino pulled up in a car. Chavez said Trevino asked if the child would like to see Santa Claus and receive free gifts and candy. Chavez said she agreed and got into Trevino's car with her granddaughter. Trevino drove, parked near the courthouse, and walked off with the girl. Chavez couldn't keep up and lost both of them. I thought I was never going to see my baby girl again, she said. It's the scariest thing. Anything could happen. Trevino had taken the child into the court clinic and insisted the 2-year-old was actually her 5-year-old daughter. The judge and the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Department referred the case to the district attorney for possible criminal charges, including perjury and fraud. Officials say kidnapping does not apply to this case. Trevino's ex-husband is poised to sue her and others. Good work. Hoping to recover listen to this, he's paid $20,000 in child support. He wants it back. Don't hold your breath, pal. Rachel Luna, a distant relative of Trevino, said Trevino had tried to borrow her 5-year-old daughter as well. Luna said Trevino had claimed she needed to collect a $20,000 prize. Oh, she collected the $20,000 prize in equal monthly payments from her ex-husband. That's where she collected the $20,000 prize. She needed to collect the $20,000 prize the girl won in a beauty pageant 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Okay. But Luna, who had seen reports of Trevino's story, said she didn't buy it. She was desperate, crying on the phone, telling me, please, Rachel, if I don't take the winner in the morning, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. I knew what she wanted her for, Luna said. Unbelievable. Now, I talk all the time on the air about child support and my fear of having to pay it and my fear of being told I'm a father. By the way, if I am your father, please don't call. Don't call, don't write, don't come knocking. You're going to get a rude awakening. I would say if you believe I'm your father, keep that to yourself. Don't be telling me about it. I like life just the way it is. Thank you very much. All right? But I'm very curious about this. Now, we all believe we've been ripped off to one extent or another when we've been married or involved with somebody and they get payments from us of some kind. This is an extreme case. A made-up child. But women have, we've got reports from callers. Women have claimed to be pregnant to get money for abortions that they may or may not have had. They have claimed to need child support for children that may not be yours. Or maybe you were in a case like this one where the child never existed. Pulling that off for 5 years, that's remarkable. Of course, that's what happens, I must say, when you do not tie child support to visitation? Shouldn't you be able to verify there is a daughter? Shouldn't you? I mean, unless you are a proven, convicted abuser, shouldn't child support be tied to whether or not you have visitation? If a woman takes your kid and runs to another state and hides, why should you have to pay her child support? At all. At all. She should have to prove that you've been convicted of physical abuse. I'd say she has to prove that. Otherwise, she cannot deny you visitation by disappearing. That's that. But I'm wondering if you have ever paid child support or paid for an abortion that you later found out never happened, or the woman was never pregnant. Did you ever pay child support? I mean, I just can't imagine there's another story like this one, but I'm always amazed when I give out the telephone number, what comes in. Ever paid child support, later find out there was no child? Or later find out the child wasn't yours? Or later find out she had an abortion, but she claimed to have had the baby so she can get money? I want to hear these stories, baby.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
I just want to say I love you in a heterosexual way.
Good. My ass is intact then. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Tom Leykis Show, 1-800-5800-TOM. Lance on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom.
Yeah.
First time, short time.
Yes, sir.
And this timing is incredible, actually. I'm actually at my drop-off spot right now with the ex picking up right now, and I've got personal experience with this topic. My ex, while I was at work, took my 2 boys and all my personal belongings. Bye, buddy. I love you. Okay, pal. And disappeared for a month and a half. Exactly, just like that. And I had no clue where my kids were. Now, after 4 days, that's actually considered kidnapping. And I've got my documentation all handled, and I will cross that bridge once I come to it. Right now, that would be a tragedy for my little boys, for something like that to happen to their mom. And I don't have the resources to actually, take them full time. I've got to work. I've got to, got to pay. You know how it is.
Uh-huh.
Well.
So she reemerged?
Absolutely. She eventually had to. I mean, after 4 days, I had the sheriff come over again. I mean, it looked like I was robbed when I came home from work. Everything was taken. And well, she had to come out. She had to come out of hiding. But the story is this. I had to pay 7 months arrears. That's what they call it. I called it stolen time. Ripped off time. I mean, she stole my second boy's first birthday from me. Stole it. I remember going to court 6 different times. And I remember asking the judge, I said, Your Honor, I'm paying 7 months back charge, and I'm happy to do that. Those are my boys. I want to pay for them. Where was I supposed to send the money? I mean, I have to pay these 7 months that of back charge. Where was I supposed to send the money? I still do not know where my children live at all. And I've been to court 6 different times. I have 3 court orders. There's been absolutely zero accountability on her part. She has been held accountable for nothing. She's come out smelling like a rose, and I've just been buried. I'm paying for everything. Man, I wish I would have...
And do your kids know where they live?
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, they're 3 and 4 years old, so I mean, they can't pinpoint it exactly. And I had to discover it on my own, and I just did that actually about 2 months ago, exactly where they live. But, I mean...
And did she move in with someone else? Is that what happened?
Oh, yeah. You know what? When I started listening to you, when I first started listening to you, I was on the fence. I thought, God, this guy, is pissed off at chicks. He's pissed off at the world. And then you started verbatim singing my song. You started spelling it out. You started in order. I mean, you started calling shots like, and then the next thing they do is get a boob job. Right on the money.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. You have been so accurate. You cannot argue with the professor because when he knows, he knows. And God bless you. I mean, I honestly wish that I would have started listening to you 2 years earlier. Things would be for sure different. But, I mean, I paid my dues. Everything that wound up for me, this is not my karma. And this is definitely not what my boys deserve. And, like I said, she went back to work, met a checkbook, moved in with him, and instead of, being honest about it, well, you know what they all do. The first thing they do is they lie and they, tell you you're crazy and you're nuts and you're delusional.
Right.
Well, for me, I mean, I've never had any experience with this, ever. Never had a bad breakup. Chicks that I dated in high school, college, everything was always a mutual, hey, I hope I see you again kind of thing, I mean, I still have chicks that send my parents Christmas cards, much less, a divorce. It doesn't exist in my family. I'm the first one, and it's humiliating. It really is. Yeah. And like I said, she's come out completely. This state upgrades them. She's completely upgraded. What she just did just recently on Thanksgiving. Now, my court papers say that I get them on my birthday, which was exactly on Thanksgiving. But she gets them on the even-numbered years, which it is 2004, so it was her time. But it says that she gets in the eve of Thanksgiving, which was Wednesday. And, it's Tuesday night right now, and you might have heard me saying goodbye to my older boy. And I get them Sunday nights and Tuesday nights, off Mondays and Tuesdays. And she was going to get him anyway, but what she did instead did not show up on Sunday night like she was supposed to. She robbed me of my time again. I mean, she stood me up 5 different occasions, which I've had to have sheriffs come out and document the whole thing. 5 different times in 4 months, with no accountability. All the police do is they come out and they fill out what they call a log. They log in something. And then you ask for, a card and you write down a date, and just so that when I do go back to court, I can show this to the judge and say, hey, you back charged me 7 months, and I'm paying current charges, and you're dinging me for her attorney's costs. That's another thing I can't figure out is she took me to court. I couldn't even afford my own attorneys. They're expensive. Yet I wound up having to pay for hers.
Unbelievable. Amazing. We've heard so many stories like yours, and it's outrageous what you have to go through to see your own kids and to maintain a relationship with them. That is truly a bitch. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. This is Sean on the Tom Leykis Show.
Daddy.
Son, how are you?
I'm doing okay, Daddy. I got a great story for you. I was dating a girl. I won't give you her last name, but her first name, Angel. I was 17. I'm 34 now. I was a DJ at a nightclub at 17, all-age nightclub in the Bay Area, and met her there. And one night we were messing around. It was actually only my second girl I'd ever been with that way. And for lack of education, I didn't know when I was so-called finished how to take care of the prophylactic. So I kept going, and it disappeared on me. So she said, "You looking for this?" and found it in a in a special spot. So then after that, she said, "Well, don't worry, I'm on the pill." So I was scratching my head, being naive 17-year-old. I wonder what you're on the pill for. So anyways, a couple months later, she said that she was pregnant and she needed $150 for the abortion. So I said, "Well, I'll go with you." She said that no boys were allowed at the Planned Parenthood, and I didn't know any better. So then, come to find out, after that, we broke up, and several months has gone by, actually a couple of years, and I found out from her best friend that she had just been late
So her period was late, and she took you for some cash.
$150, never told me. It had been a couple years, and I thought that this was all, something that had happened. I recently, actually about 2 years ago, driving down the street, look over at a gas station on like a hot day around June or July, and I see a girl with a baby on her hip and one in the back seat with the hood of her Malibu up and steam coming out of the radiator on a payphone, and that was her.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so it looks like she had a little bit of karma came back to her after a little while there.
Wow.
And it just kept on going, didn't stop, didn't
That
wait.
could have been you.
That could have been me.
That could have been your responsibility.
Yep. So you got to watch out, I guess, and, listen to the master and always, make sure that you wrap it before you pack it.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Joe on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
Okay.
Yeah, I want to tell you this quick story about what happened to me a couple years back. I was in the military, and I was stationed out in Kentucky, and there was a girl that I met who also was in the military, and, we used to be intimate with each other. It was a mutual thing. She was my girlfriend. I was a little young at the time. And we ended up breaking up. She ended up going to Germany, and we broke up. Well, I never heard from her again until about 2 years later down the road. She calls me out of nowhere, and she says that she's going to have my kid. So I was probably about 20 at the time. I'm 25 now. And, like my whole world just flipped upside down. I didn't know what I was going to do. I wasn't prepared for that. So she said, 6 months later, whatever, she said, well, I have the baby, and it's yours, and because I haven't been with anybody else. And, I want you to pay child support, help me out. And I figured, going through the courts and stuff was going to cost me a lot of money. Being in the military, I wasn't going to be able to afford it. So we came out with a payment plan. I was sending her $200 a month. And, on military salary, that's a lot of money. So after that...
We're running out of time here, so what's the bottom line?
Well, I wasn't the only guy she was doing this to. There was about 4 or 5 guys that I found out that she was collecting for the kid, and the kid wasn't even mine.
Wow. That's outrageous.
The Tom Leykis Show. This is the Tom Leykis Show.
From Los Angeles to 1-800-5800-TOM. We started off this hour talking about the story of a woman in Albuquerque who claimed she had a 5-year-old daughter by an ex-husband and collected $20,000 in child support from him before it was discovered that this child never existed. Dave on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom, great show.
Thank you.
I was a detective with a police agency in another state a couple years back, and my partner and I got a call of a deceased infant, and my partner and I we responded to the residence where this lady lived. I should say girl. She was about 20, 21 years old, maybe at the most. I can't recall, but she had reported that she had her baby in the hospital, and that the baby had subsequently died, and then that the hospital had lost her baby, and the body could not be found. Well, of course, when we got there, my partner and I, we were a little, just to say the least, we were a little skeptical of the whole situation. Make a long story short, as it turned out, the girl didn't want to lose her boyfriend, who was a year or two older than she was, and she had her hopes on marriage. And basically, she had went through her whole alleged pregnancy, going to the doctor, the alleged doctor. She would have family members take her and drop her off. Would never let any family members come to the appointment. She said she wanted privacy, and she fooled the whole family for a period of 9 months. And then finally, of course, it came down to it. There was no baby,
So she had to figure out what to do, and of course then everybody in the family and the boyfriend are starting to get concerned because it's like, wow, this baby's close to a month overdue. So she thought quick, and she convinced them that she had checked herself into the hospital, that she had the baby, and that the baby had died sometime after birth. And then she was released from the hospital within a day or so, allegedly. She had laid low for a while. Well, the family wanted a decent burial for the child, and they couldn't understand what was going on, so they take her to the local funeral home to make arrangements. And when the funeral home goes to the hospital, to the morgue, guess what? There's no baby. So she had invented the whole thing so she could trap this poor guy and get the ring on the finger.
Wow.
It was just outrageous. And this poor kid, he didn't know what to think. He was, quote, going to do the right thing. But what amazed us was that although there were a few of the details of the story that the family just didn't understand, they had bought the story hook, line, and sinker.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too. So when I heard the story of the lady from Albuquerque, it's like, guys need to be careful because it's not isolated. They'll do whatever they can.
I wouldn't pay 10 cents until I see that baby and get a DNA test.
Amen. That's right. Always, you need to know it's yours because there's been cases that, you've talked about several times, poor guys out there paying, and the courts continue to make them pay for children that aren't even theirs.
Especially once you start paying, and she puts you down as the father after a certain period of time. In some states, 1 year, 2 years, that's it. You are the father whether you like it or not.
That's it. They've got your wallet no matter which way you go.
Thanks,
right. Tom.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate the call. Unbelievable story. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. It's Steve on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, it's Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, man, I had the almost same thing happen to me, but I caught that bitch before I gave her any money.
Really?
Yeah, she tried to tell me she was knocked up and she was going to have an abortion and she needed $400 to pay for half of it. First off, I know how much they cost. So I told her if she wanted the money, fine, let me know when the appointment is. I'd go, I'd show up with her. She would never tell me. She kept hounding me for the money. So finally she tells me she has an appointment at this abortion clinic on south part of town. I show up. I'm trying to park. Hang on just a second.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So she tells me she has an appointment on this day at 7:30 in the morning. So I show up at 6:30 just to wait and see if she's ever going to show. I wait there until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Broad never shows.
Mm-hmm.
Called her back, asked her what happens. What happened? She never showed. Oh, I went to this clinic, but I still need the money. I was like, okay. I was like, well, that's fine. I'll give you the money when I get a receipt. Oh, they don't give receipts at those clinics. I was like, yeah, they have. Give me the receipt and you'll get the cash. She never showed me the receipt. She never got the cash, and that's the last time I talked to her.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Because I live by one rule when it comes to women. All women are whores, and they'll take you for everything you got. So you just bang them and leave them. Pump them and dump them and go.
Pump them and dump them.
That's it. And they like it, too. They'll tell you they don't, but they like getting treated that way.
They love being treated like crap, as you know, Steve.
Oh, man, nice guys finish last, man. You got to be a jerk and you'll get laid.
That's right.
That's right.
I love it.
Guys need to do one thing, listen to their dad.
No doubt about it. You're absolutely right, Steve.
Uh-huh. Because my dad told me the same thing, and I turned on the radio, and you said the same thing when I first heard you about 10 years ago.
Excellent. Steve, I'm proud. Thank you very much. Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. This is Shy on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
How's it going, Tom?
Pretty good.
I got a story for you. It kind of pertains to what you guys were talking about. My ex-wife decided she was going to cheat on me. I had a kid that I thought was mine for 8 months and didn't know it until I got the DNA test results.
Really?
Yeah, she got me good. I was paying child support for 8 months because we split up.
Did you try to get the money back?
Oh, I got all the money back. I got all the money.
She volunteered it, or you had to sue her, or what?
She volunteered. After we got the results from the DNA test, first thing I asked her before the test was, is there any way possible this is going to turn out that my daughter, that Cheyenne wasn't mine, that was the kid's name. She said, no, there's no way. Held on till the end. Right at the end, when we got the results, I was livid. I went right to my lawyer. My lawyer contacted her. She had to check to him within 2 hours.
Really? Did we ever find out who the father really was?
Yeah, it turned out to be one of my really old friends.
Oh boy, he's even older now.
He's done.
Wow.
I didn't want to see him. I was like, yeah.
Did you confront him about it?
No, I haven't spoken to him since they got together, because they got together and caused divorce and everything.
And she told you that, or you found out from by other means?
Oh, excuse me?
She told you that?
Oh,
how did you find out that it was your old friend?
Oh, just little things started adding up, and she finally admitted to it when I got the child support money back. She said, yes, it's his.
Unbelievable. So did she tell you any of the details, like how it happened?
No. She didn't really even want to say anything. She was just kind of ashamed and embarrassed. She just lost, she lost her house, her marriage, her car, everything. She got the kid. Better her than me, I guess.
Yeah. No doubt about it, Shy. Are you happier now? Are you happier now that you're rid of her?
Oh, I'm totally happy. Totally happy. I'm only 29 years old, live in Las Vegas, and I'm having a blast.
Well, I love that.
What's that?
Now, sounds good to me. Everybody, it's a reminder, and I'm telling you guys, everybody out there, I don't care if you're married to her or not, you got to have a DNA test right away. Do not take her word for it at all.
No doubt at all.
Get the test right away. Like, you waited 8 months, but at least you got it done. Some of these guys just believe. They believe, oh, I'm in love. She wouldn't do that to me.
I tell you what, if there's any doubt in your mind, if the kid doesn't look, at least like someone in your family, I say go get that test. I mean, it'll change your life forever. Because, one way, either you have a kid or you don't. As simple as that.
No doubt about it.
Can you sing that old school song?
Here you go, Shy. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Scott on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
All right, Scott.
Well, I got one for you, too, here. I'm married now, but they'd almost broke up my marriage with my wife. This girl I had that I was with when I was in the military back in almost 4 years ago. She called to the military. She tried to get a hold of me through the military, tried to get a hold of me through everything, and calls me up and tells me that I have a 3.5-year-old daughter. And I'm like, I have what? When? And she tells me, that she wants child support for her, and and I said, well, if she's mine, I'll take responsibility, but I want a DNA test. I have no problem with this. And my wife was, livid that I didn't tell her about it, that we just got married and everything, and she almost left me because of it. And I was like, well, I want a DNA test, and she goes, no, it's your daughter. I haven't been with anybody since you for 3 years. I'm like, yeah, I believe that. And she wouldn't give me the DNA test and tried to have the courts, and she already gave the child my last name.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, hell no. I'm not paying for a kid without a DNA test because I want to make sure that kid's mine.
Mm-hmm.
And the military keeps records on our where our addresses are, especially when you're still active reserves.
Uh-huh.
So it ain't like she couldn't have found me. She could have called the military and actually got my address.
Uh-huh.
And so she's lying out the ass. I already knew that. So she wouldn't give me the DNA test, and then she finally said, okay, I'll give you the DNA test. I drive all the way to Texas from California, drive all the way to Texas to get the DNA test. And she comes up and says, no, this is your daughter. And I'm like, oh, well, give me the DNA test. And I finally got, after like 3 months of fighting with her about it. After I drove to Texas, I drove all the way back home because she wouldn't do it. Then I spent all the money to drive all the way back out there to go back out to Texas. And she finally gave me the DNA test and found out the kid wasn't mine. After all this money, I went and sued her for the amount of money it cost me to leave work and everything. And the judge in Texas said, "Yep, no problem, it's yours." And I got all the money for her sending me to court and all this kind of. And she had to pay my attorney fees.
Wow, I love that.
I screwed this bitch royally because she just, and then my wife was, was livid about it and thinking, is there any more out there? And, have her questioning me,
Oh, yeah.
And I was only with one girl when I was in the military, so, oh, excuse my language. She basically screwed me. And before that, I had a girlfriend. I would just remember I was waiting on hold that basically did the same thing. The one guy kept telling me she had to get an abortion because she had my baby. She was pregnant with my baby and stuff like that. And I gave her like $250 to get the abortion. And I found out 4 years later, something like that, she never had an abortion. She just took me for the money.
Unbelievable story.
Tom Leykis.
Okay.
1-800-5800-TOM. Tom.
If you date a crazy man, crazy things are going to happen. My father used to tell me, if you live in a junkyard and you open your windows and say it stinks outside, well, move.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
It's the Tom Leykis Show. Eddie, hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Eddie.
I'm a new man now, Tom.
Really?
Yes, I am. I am. I got a similar story to those guys that were on the phone before me. Basically, I was with this girl for about 3 years. I'm 23 right now. I met her when I was 20. And, I just started listening to your show a few months ago, luckily, and got the real deal. Because before, I was in the dark, Tom, without you.
Many people were.
Yeah, you really enlightened me to what's really going on. So anyway, when I first met her, she was a stripper. So,
That's always trouble.
I was all over it, Tom.
Yep.
I thought it was a good thing, golly, she looked so good. So I just stayed with her. And about a year and a half ago, 2 years, she was like, I want to have a baby. So, anyway, she's like, I want to have a baby. And I'm like, I'm not ready for that. And, I'm in the military. So I was, I'd go to California and for the holidays and stuff like that, and I would see her. And I got a call from her, like, in March of this year saying that she was pregnant. And she said that the baby was mine. And I was like, oh, no, I messed up. I'm just getting my career started in the military. I can't be going through this, So, anyway, she keeps saying it's mine for the whole 9 months. And I'm just thinking in the back of my mind, like, there's no way it could be mine because I don't think I was there. But see, I went wrong, Tom, by not wrapping it up,
Yeah.
Yeah, so since I've been listening to you, I've been getting my mind straight. But anyway.
Hopefully you've been wrapping it up.
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course I've been wrapping up now. I just went through a scare. But,
Well, it turned out what? What happened? Because we're running out of time.
Okay, sorry, Tom. She ended up having the baby a few weeks ago.
And it wasn't yours. Unbelievable.
The Tom Leykis Show.